Hi, I'm here to talk about a book that I have just finished reading after ages. It is Spirits I Have Known by Ipsita Roy Chakraverti. Ipsita Roy Chakraverti describes herself as a witch, and she has written a memoir on her journey of becoming a witch and her journey into the occult sciences in one of her early books called Beloved Witch. She has recently come out a sequel to that book called The Beloved Witch Returns. I have read A Beloved Witch and I was taken in by her writing because it was very evocative, it was very compelling, and you could sense a lived in feel of how she would write. There was an air of mystery, there was drama, and yet nothing felt unreal or plastic or just for the sake of impact. Having said that, Spirits I Have Known has not been as impactful an experience, I must say. So Spirits I Have Known is a set of her case studies. So there are various cases that she has encountered with different people, and as part of the cases she's had to work with spirits or entities in different environments. Some of these are cases where she has been actively involved and some where she has been obliquely involved. So she has had to indirectly get involved with a person who has been part of a scenario, and that's what she's written about. So the initial stories are a little mundane. The build up is quite a bit, and in fact there's a little too much emphasis in her wanting to create that aura of mystique around herself, leave alone the ghost or any of that. It's around herself. There's a little bit of tom-tomming. I felt that, oh, look at me, how I can maneuver the natural world or the psychic world and things like that. uh, but I have to say that she really can craft an atmosphere. It is compelling. So some of the short stories, the first one actually begins with a single lady. She lives by herself and she goes for a walk around the lake. Just that bit, just the initial portions of her describing the walk, it has a languidness, it has a poetry to it. So that is particularly beautiful. Then but in all of the short stories, whether the build up has ultimately paid off or not, and it doesn't actually pay off in all the short stories. The initial ones definitely not, the latter ones yes, for sure, and I'll get to that in a bit. Her way of describing an environment is superb. It really is. And then what is the next bit? Okay. Um, Now, there are a couple of short stories which really, you kind of see what's going to come. So these short stories, one is called Chinar and one is called The Guardian. One is set around Kashmir and the other is set around a clearing in a wood, and in both these cases you know what's coming, but there is a beauty, there is a lyricism, a very haunting melody, if I may say so, in the way the spirit world is explored. It's very touching, actually. I mean, you don't feel scared or anything, you just feel that um, um, you feel the way you feel, when you listen to a love story that could have been great, but it ended prematurely. So, that kind. My favorite short stories, there are a couple of them. One is Tea for One, and the other is called Revenge. Now, both these, what I found particularly interesting is that the beats are the same. Yeah, something eerie is going on, and somebody is not acting as per habit, and something's up, and the title of the book tells you what is up, right? Like, it's not a murder or something. It's a haunting. But even with those beats, there is a tapestry that she has, that she's just woven, which I felt was very lived in, and it felt that these are the stories where she really has actually empathized with every single entity involved in the story. Otherwise, with many of the other stories, you get the sense that it's one person's point of view, a very predominant point of view. But with these two stories, you really understand that she has got the sense of how the world, I mean, she's got the sense of everyone's world. So that was beautiful. And she what I have understood of her writing and her work is that she feels that India must take the research of the psychic world seriously. So even this book of short stories ends with a collection of further readings. So these are suggested readings of some textbooks, of some manuscripts, that explain research that has been conducted by other writers from different parts of the world. So that's an interesting list. And I'm hoping to someday get around to reading some of them. So yes, this was my review. I mean, not really review. It's a short talk about the book. It's a good read if you're looking for something thrilling, and it's very rooted in India and our cities, especially Calcutta and Darjeeling, and a couple of farm places outside of Calcutta. So it's our milieu. If you're Indian, it's our milieu. So that's always fun. Thank you.